Hey guys, it's Core Ross and welcome to Busting Rainbow Six Siege. Today we are Mythbusting Solis, the brand new defender, who is coming with Operation Solar Raid on December 6th. And if you haven't seen any information on this new operator, she is capable of detecting gadgets very similarly to IQ, but on the defender side, which opens up a lot of interesting tactics. Although as an attacker, I'm going to teach you how to actually overwhelm her gadget so it doesn't work. But before that, we're going to look at all the attacker gadgets that she can detect and how they impact the attacker and operators, because some of them get off real lightly by having their gadgets only be detected for a short time, and other ones are detected all the time. So first up is the detection of drones, and this is a game changer. You're no longer able to just hide your drone somewhere because Solis can just run up to it and find it. However, someone does have to be on the drone at the time in order for her to detect the signals coming from it, and she can also detect the actual player who's using their phone to control the drone as well. So as an attacker in the new season, you're really going to have to worry about going on your phone next to a soft wall or a closed window, because she might just detect you and start shooting at you immediately. However, it is good that she cannot detect inactive drones, otherwise all the attacker drones will be dead very quickly. In the same vein, she can also detect Twitch's drone, and she is able to identify between the two as well. If she's looking through a wall, she'll be able to know if it's a normal drone or a Twitch drone moving around. And if Twitch is in range, she can also detect Twitch controlling the drone too. This is the same for Flores, and for Flores, this is probably a big nerf. She can see those drones coming, which means she can get back on her weapon and be ready to take them out as they enter her sight. So I think Solis is a very good counter for Flores. And another drone-based operator that is countered by Solis is Yana. She can detect the hologram and again, the control mechanism as well. And this facilitates all kinds of potential runouts, and not just from Solis. Solis can actually let people know that there's someone out there on their camera, and they could do the runout rather than actually risk Solis with her ability. So there's a lot of potential here for just mayhem amongst the attackers, and they're going to have to adapt to this new operator's ability. But that moves us away from the relatively simple stuff that makes a lot of sense when you know that this operator detects gadgets. Now we start moving into the operators where it gets a little bit more complicated. And we'll start simple here with Ash. She has a very analog based gadget, which is just effectively a grenade launcher. So there's no electronics, no chips, nothing for Solis to detect. And of course this covers other operators like Buck and such like that. But if she uses the normal breaching charge, Solis will detect that when she's actually holding it and when she places it. However, the detonator will not be picked up by Solis's gadget, even though it probably has at least some electrical properties. And then other gadgets that work like a breaching charge, we place it on a wall or surface, like say the secondary hard breach, Thermite's breaching charge, Fuse's cluster charge. They will all be detected in a similar way to the normal breaching charge, where you can see the operator holding it and then placing it, but you do not see the detonation. And then this extends out further to operators like Ace, who throw their gadget. Now at first I actually thought this gadget was purely analog because it uses water to hard breach. That was the whole lore behind it. So I actually went back to the original reveal and read IQ's report about this gadget, and it does have sensors that detect how strong a surface is. So there is actually lore about tech being in these gadgets that Solis could pick up. But that pushes us over to Callie, who can fire off an explosive bolt that digs into walls, and apparently that is purely mechanical because nothing gets picked up by Solis's gadget here. It'll also be no one's surprise that Maverick doesn't get picked up by Solis's gadget when he's using his blowtorch, and Amaru isn't picked up with her grappling hook. And then we've got the rollable gadgets. So Ying's Candela can be picked up by Solis's gadget, and Sense's gadget can be picked up as well, although both are actually different. So with Ying, you actually see the ball as it moves through, but with Sense, his wheel is not picked up, it's actually the laser projectors that are underneath, and this might become very important shortly because he drops a lot of them. And now we're moving into the next operators that get detected, and these are the ones who actually have their ability on them, and some of them win real good here, and some of them totally lose out to Solis. So first of all, Jackal. He can be picked up whenever he is using his ability, so he's very easy to track as a Solis player. I think a lot of Jackals have this on all the time, so unless they adapt, they're just going to be tracked down and killed. And then we've got Lion, who whenever he activates his ability, it is detectable on him for a considerable amount of time, even after he's hit the button. And I guess this makes sense. He is kind of communicating with his drone above, passing that information on to friendlies. So he gets picked up for a very long time, and that is a bit of a worry for Lion players. However, we then have Dokkaebi, whose call to all defenders lasts quite a long time, but her detection is actually extremely short. It's only the time where she actually initiates the call. Now, I assume lore-wise that she is just simply communicating with an off-site server that is calling the defenders, and she's not doing it from the actual tablet itself, so it's only sending out an initial signal to begin, and that's why she can't be picked up for a long period. But Dokkaebi gets off real light here when it comes to the detection time for her gadget. But also be noted that Solis can detect the phones defenders drop when they're killed when Dokkaebi's on the attacker team. And then we have Nuke, and whenever her gadget is on, she will be detectable by Solis, so this is extremely dangerous. And because attacker repick exists, I expect most Nuke players should play smart and just play a different character whenever they see Solis on the field. But she's actually not the worst off attacker here, we're going to get to that very shortly. And then also she can detect IQ, and this is to be expected. They both have electronic gadgets and they're both basically the same operator, so they can both see each other. Although IQ does have superior range. But now I can confirm who is the worst off attacker against Solis, and it's a surprise for me. It is Blitz. He can be detected all the time with his shield. And what I find funny about this, and it's almost comical to me, is that when he uses his gadget, he can't be detected for like a second, and then he's back to being detected. I think that is hilarious. So Blitz here really gets the raw end of the deal when Solis is added into the game, and again, like Nuke, if you see a Solis, I would just not bring Blitz. Do not bring Blitz. It's not going to be a good day for you. But anyway, that's the actual gadgets that are on the characters. You can see that there's a huge variety in detection times. Some of them are detected all the time. Some are detected just when they activate a gadget, and some for their entire gadget's duration. And that takes us into the next lot of gadgets, which is launchers. And these are also inconsistent. So first up we have Zero. Now Zero's camera launcher can be detected. Makes sense, it's got a little display on it and everything. It's probably got quite a bit of tech, and his cameras can be detected. However, only when they are being used. So just like the drones. They have to be actively being used to view through in order for Solis to detect them, but definitely a very strong counter to Zero here, I think Solis is. Then we have Hibana, and her launcher can be detected along with her pellets as well. But someone who's different in this category is Grim. His launcher cannot be picked up, and the ball that he fires out from that launcher is also not detectable. It's only when it opens up and the canister falls out that it can be detected. So I assume the launcher has no tech in it, and the actual ball that is fired from it must be acting like a Faraday cage and keeping any electrical signals within it until it opens up and releases the bees. And another operator who works like this is Nomad. Her launcher cannot be detected, however the air jab can be, and this is very good for going around clearing out air jabs. Solis is a great counter for Nomad. And I'll also reiterate here, she can ping the gadget's location, so she can just show the roamers where the air jab is, not necessarily actually put herself at risk. And then we've got another one that I was very interested in testing, and this is Finka, because she's got nano probes in her blood, and she has a glove for activating them. But also all of her teammates also have nano probes. So can they all be picked up? Well, Finka's glove can be picked up when she is doing a boost, so you can actually see her through walls when she's doing that. But her teammates do not show up when they are being boosted. That would be quite a downside if that was the case. Imagine just everyone getting boosted and Solis being able to see everybody right then and there. But anyway, that's all you need to know about attackers, and what ones are getting off lightly and what ones are getting in real trouble. But now let's talk about countering Solis, because in the reveal they said that Thatcher was one of the top counters for this operator. And certainly if you manage to get into EMP range, you can disable her gadget. I just don't think it's a very good counter at all. She's got great range on this gadget, and that means she's not going to need to be standing next to reinforced walls or anything like that looking for hard breachers. She can be backed by quite a bit, and I think she'll be able to avoid EMPs very easily. So let's move on to how you can successfully counter her and how this doesn't need to be done by a specific operator. So in her HUD, you will notice two dashes at the bottom left. Now if she picks up a gadget that will go up to 1. If she sees 2, it goes up to 2, and so on. Now, if you put more than 5 there, and we're going to do this with Hibana charges here, but if you can imagine, the real tactic here would be to have a couple of attackers on the other side using their gadgets. Let's just say, each operator's got 2 claymores, they can slap them down, or they can throw out a drone and get on their drone close to the reinforced wall. That way, what we're doing is overloading the gadget, as it can only detect 5 gadgets total. Once it goes over that limit, it starts to glitch out. And then Solis can no longer accurately detect where things are. This means you could have just a few attackers on the other side with their gadgets out or claymores planted, and then your hard breacher can come up and safely place their gadget on the wall, with it being a far harder time for her to tell Bandit where the hard breach is about to happen. And this tactic by attackers is only going to be viable in a concentrated area, so it's not like you can go ahead and use this in an anti-Roman technique or something like that. But certainly for busting through reinforced walls, you can actually disrupt her ability to track you. But that is confirmed, you can overload her gadget. But let's flip this back around and talk about the gadget that Solis counters the strongest. And this is the Claymore. So first of all, she can detect and ping the Claymores, meaning that she can facilitate a run out for herself. So this is a very solo friendly tactic. Or you can ping Claymores for your teammates to real runouts on as well. It just makes her into a very scary anti-Claymore operator who is going to be a master at runouts. So that is confirmed. But that's not the only thing that Solis is good at. She does have another trick up her sleeve, which is detecting the diffuser. So as the diffuser is dropped, she will be able to see it. If the operator is carrying it, she will not be able to see it. But if they begin to place the diffuser, she will be able to pick it up. And this is definitely another thing that makes her very strong. And this is the thing, I think she's a strong operator in a few places. The claymores and the diffuser. I think everything else, she's pretty mediocre. And that brings me around to the final thing I'm going to test, and that is comparison between her and IQ. Which one is the better IQ? So we'll start with ranges. Solis can pick up gadgets starting at 15 meters, whereas IQ can start to pick up gadgets at 19 to 20 meters and gets more accurate within 18 meters. Also, IQ's gadget allows her to have a weapon out, and she doesn't have to worry about a battery running out as well. And her gadget cannot be overloaded. So I'm going to give the win here. I think this is going to be a confirmed for IQ. I think IQ is overall a better operator. Now in the lore of the game, it's actually said that this was originally going to be an upgrade for IQ. And some of that might be real. It's very possible that this was originally going to be a rework of IQ. And they were like, hey, this might actually work better on defense, and ended up giving it to a defender. And I would not be surprised if the lore was shaped by real life. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching this episode of Busting Rainbow Six Siege. Big thanks to my YouTube members and Patreons for supporting this channel, and I'll catch you next time.